ChatGPT. Relate ACIM to the movie Bombshell. Bombshell through the lens of A Course in Miracles, ACIM. Bombshell can be viewed through ACIM as a powerful exploration of fear, power, image-making, silence, truth-telling, and the cost of maintaining the ego's system. While the film is based on workplace misconduct and abuse of power, the deeper spiritual themes revolve around a question that appears throughout the course. Will I protect the illusion, or will I choose truth? The movie is ultimately about what happens when appearances become more important than honesty. The ego's world of images. One of the strongest themes in Bombshell is image. Public image, corporate image, personal image, professional image. The ego survives through images. It constantly asks, how do I appear? What will others think? How do I protect my position? ACIM teaches that the ego is fundamentally a self-concept, an image made to replace the self-God created. Throughout the movie, enormous effort is spent protecting appearances while deeper truths remain hidden. This reflects the ego's entire strategy, the power of silence. Many characters struggle with whether to speak or remain silent. Fear says, stay quiet, protect yourself, don't risk losing what you have. The ego often survives because fear keeps truth hidden, teaches that what remains hidden remains unhealed. Healing begins when darkness is brought to light, just not for punishment, for release. The movie repeatedly demonstrates the psychological burden of carrying what cannot be spoken. Fear and the need for approval. Many of the characters face an internal conflict between integrity and approval. The ego depends heavily upon approval. It fears rejection, loss, embarrassment, isolation. Throughout the film, individuals must decide whether external acceptance is more important than inner honesty. This mirrors a central choice described in ACIM, the choice between fear and truth. The abuse of power. The film also examines how power can be used to manipulate, intimidate, and control. The ego's version of power always depends upon hierarchy. Someone wins, someone loses, someone controls, someone submits. Teaches that true power comes from spirit, not domination. The ego's power is fragile because it depends upon fear. Spirit's power is stable because it comes from truth. The movie repeatedly exposes the instability of systems built on fear. Specialness. Another important theme involves specialness. The ego seeks status, recognition, influence, access, advantage. Specialness always creates comparison. Comparison creates fear. Fear creates conflict. The Course teaches that specialness is one of the primary obstacles to peace because it depends upon inequality. Many of the tensions within the film arise from systems built upon competition and status rather than joining and equality. Truth is liberation. One of the most significant movements in the movie occurs when people begin telling the truth. Truth becomes liberating, not necessarily comfortable, not necessarily easy, but liberating. Teaches that truth does not create fear. Truth exposes fear. The discomfort often comes not from truth itself, but from the collapse of the illusions built around it. The movie demonstrates how difficult and how freeing this process can be. Forgiveness and accountability. From an ACIM perspective, forgiveness does not mean denying harmful behavior. The Course never asks us to pretend that fear-based actions are loving. Rather, forgiveness involves recognizing that attack arises from confusion and fear, rather than from the truth of who anyone is. The distinction is important. Behavior can be addressed. Boundaries can be established. Accountability can occur, while still recognizing that God's creation remains innocent beneath the ego's mistakes. The movie raises difficult questions about how to respond to fear-based behavior without becoming trapped in hatred. The central reflection. The ego watches Bombshell and asks, how do I protect my position? The Holy Spirit watches Bombshell and asks, am I willing to value truth more than appearances? Viewed through ACIM, the movie becomes a study in the tension between image and authenticity. It reveals the suffering that arises when fear is protected and the healing that begins when truth is allowed to emerge. The deepest message may be, the ego survives through secrecy, image, and fear. Healing begins when truth is welcomed, appearances lose their authority, and the mind becomes willing to value honesty above self-protection. Go to mwge.org to find full movie and commentary by David Hoffmeister.